Good evening, everyone. How are we doing tonight? Coming to you at 9 p.m. Yes, it's a little bit late, right? I mean, it's 12 o'clock on the East Coast. What is Rideshare Professor doing this late? Truth is, it's been a crazy busy week. I know the last video I made was on Monday. Our House Mondays, and I've just been jamming morning to night. And the beautiful thing is that the private trips are coming back. Last night had a bookings from the Foo Fighters. Drove my actress client. REG's in the house. Ziggy 007's in the house. So things are bouncing back nicely in the private arena. And the one thing I'm asking my clients right now, I'm saying, okay, you ready to come back, right? I can see you coming back, you're placing the bookings. What made you decide to book now? And they said, looks like everyone's wearing their masks. Looks like if we're working together, we don't really foresee any problems or issues getting back into the car. So I just walk them through right in the beginning. I want you to know that all the handles, the door knobs, every single thing in this car is sprayed down and wiped down. I have multiple bottles of sanitizer in the car. My carpets are sprayed, all the seats, I wipe it down. And they know the moment they get in the car, they can smell, that sanitizer smell, right? It's very distinct. And they say, I can smell your car is clean. And from that moment onwards, I don't know what happens with the client, but maybe it's like a little bit of a psychological click up here, boom, the next order. And then they're ordering again. So I'm super excited to see this strong uptick in private trips. As far as the Uber and Lyft arena goes, many of you are still kicking back, and David Garcia's in the house, Taryn's in the house, Rick Nelson's in the house, Love and Light is in the house, Chris B is in the house, Love and Light. Who did I leave out? John Bloxham, Mikey. Yeah, I've been ripping the private trips. I got a big one for Saturday. I got a 4-hour booking, 4.5-hour booking. I got a Sunday booking. I have a Monday booking. I have a Tuesday booking. So very excited to see the private trips bounce back. And all of my clients, I mean, I have additional masks. If they don't have one, I'm like, listen, two-way street. You wear it, I wear it, and they're cool with that. And those are my conditions. So have the highest, try at least to the highest degree, keep the car safe, keep them safe, keep myself safe. And I haven't worn this for a long time. Hashtag COVIDara19. As you can see, this name, I came up and I made a lot of shirts. I also had a lot of giveaways. Shirley's in the house. I welcome you. Mikey says private trips, I believe, are the future. The app is just not worth it. And I have been preparing hundreds of drivers over the last few years, training them up how to become private drivers and how to really make money. We've had many people in this house, in this channel, talk about their successes and say, hey, it's the best thing. I did your course. I learned all the ins and outs. I was with Rideshare Professor on the phone. And I am an open book, man. I share all my information. I have nothing to hide. I have no problem educating competitors in Los Angeles. You know why? Because it's such a big city. I don't have to be selfish. And the more people I believe I help, we help each other. So I have bounced some clients to some of the people that I've trained up, vice versa. When they couldn't do it, they would call me and say, is it possible to pick up someone in Long Beach? Can you pick up someone in Beverly Hills for me? I've got this guy flying in at 11, 12 o'clock at night. So the more you reach out and help each other, it comes back to you, my friend. The universe rewards you with the most wonderful gifts if you take care of each other. I'm a firm believer in that. Now, one of the titles, it says a California PUC, which is what, the Public Utilities Commission, rules that Uber and Lyft drivers are employees. Now, don't stress, this is California, right? There's a lot of people that don't want to be deemed employees. This is another press release. What it means at the end of the day. Hola amigo from Tijuana Transportation, Mario Garcia in the house. Hola amigo, good to see you, my friend. Good to see someone from Tijuana in the house. That's awesome. I've been there. I took a whole bunch of German friends down to Tijuana. We partied it up the one time. Pretty wild. Had a good time. And thank you for checking in. Mikey Momo says people always tip on private trips. Correct. 20 bucks from the trip back to an Airbnb short drive. Yeah, the one thing you can always rely on with private trips, and anyone that wants to have that conversation about how to set yourself up privately, you have my number. There it is. You have my email. I'm going to share my email. There it is. So please like and subscribe, thumbs up. I only have 2. I have 43 people in the house. I've got 2 likes. I'm doing this for us. I'm doing this for you. I'm giving up my time for you guys. All I request, I don't have a huge request. All I ask is hit me a like, or if you don't, if you've liked already, hit the subscribe button. I have a lot to give. I have a lot to offer, and I just take what has worked for me. Calling me on the other one. Sorry, I can't take that phone. Francis Sharp, Texas is in the house. REG, Godonnie's in the house. Good to see you. There's a Concierge iDrive. That is my company. I love it. I love it. I love it. Concierge iDrive. Ike's Dogs, Isaac Brown from Bellflower, California, baby. Awesome. We have Abstract Impressions, Karen. The cool thing is, I don't really do live feeds this late, right? Sometimes I do them very, very late. But we get a different group of people, and I'm generally middle of the day or late morning, right? Which means 3-hour delay on the East Coast, 3 p.m. or around about 12 noon on the East Coast. Now I'm doing it 9:15 Cali time, probably 15:15 pumpkin time in New York City. Different crowd, which is cool. And then we have our South African friend in the house, Chris B. He's 9 hours ahead, so he must have got up very, very early. It must be like 6 a.m. in the morning there in South Africa. Good to have you here. Scott Tucker's in the house. Got a lot of good peeps in the house. COVID-19, baby. The #1 pandemic. Dara-19. No, what is it? It's COVID-Dara-19. Is it Dara-19? No, it's COVID-Dara-19, the #1 pandemic in the country. The CEO, Dara-19, 19, average age of the Vietnam soldier, 19. Remember that song? COVID-Dara-19. In the house, whoop, whoop. John Durham in the house. Ray, the mailman, Uber driver, hey. Thanks for the advice. I did research, 2020 Navigator instead. $104,000 now, $65,000 wholesale, baby. Thank God we have that conversation. My friend, you probably just saved yourself 40,000 bucks. Dude, do you know how much money that is? This guy, and Ray, I love you, but you wanted to go out there and splash $104,000 down for that car. I put my foot down and I said, no. You should be paying 60 to 65 grand. Didn't I say that? Exactly those numbers. And there we are, baby. So, good news. I sold a few cars this week. Good money. And I bought one of my dream cars, a 55 Bel Air Chevy. And wait till I present that beauty. It's going to be the real estate video car in California. I'm going to brand it. I'm going to have magnets made for it, the spot above magnets, which I can take off. It's going to be cherry red and white. And I'm going to make several videos of the process and gutted it down, putting a big 350 short block Chevy motor in it, 380 horsepower. Then we adding hookah headers, which is going to be about another 20 horsepower, free flow exhaust system, new carburation. I want to try and get that up to about 400 horsepower. I want to have one mean, lean machine, and I ain't going to sell that baby. Ain't going to sell it. That's my gift to myself, to celebrate post-pandemic, to celebrate 2021. That's what I do. If I find a good reason to celebrate, like my 50th, I reward myself. And that is what I just did today. So 2 thumbs up. I am so excited, like a little kid. I'm like a little 5-year-old about this car. And only reason why I did it is because I dropped a couple of other cars at good profit. So it's been a super busy week, morning till night. Lot of private clients came back, a lot of bookings this weekend and next week. So, you know, and I've been asking for it. I've been putting it out there in the universe. I've been, you know, making that request to the universe. Send me the work. I'm ready. I'm ready to roll. As long as we stay safe, I'm ready to roll. Pastor Potter Gabe is in the house. Will you buy us cars? You want me to buy you cars? I'll go with you to an auction and I'll get you the best deal ever. But am I just going to whip out $3,000-$4,000? No. I'm generous, believe me. I'm generous, and I've helped out a lot of people with money. I have raised a lot of people money. I've written business plans for a lot of friends and helped them raise money. But I don't go out, I'll be honest, I don't go out handing $2,000-$3,000 to people randomly here and there. I don't do that. Where I can, I'll help people in need. Some of the people in this channel I've helped out financially. Several people, in fact, several drivers. And, you know, if it's a good charity, if it's about animals, I'll donate. If it's about animal abuse or senior abuse or any type of child abuse, those are topics that I'm passionate about. Yes, I'll donate to those causes. Rick Nelson, San Antonio, how's the weather there? Has it calmed down? Chewy Scott says, I have a 59 Cadillac Coupe DeVille Eldorado. Look at that car. Yep, I know the car. I don't even have to look it up. I know it. 2 thumbs up from me, buddy. I like those old American cars. Big, powerful steel. The more chrome, the better. And wait till you see the wait till I present that. Not Chevy, but Chevy. Chevy is probably Russian Chevy, American Chevy, Russian Chevy, right? So COVID era hashtag, if you can circulate it again, COVID era 19. Now I'm going to take these shades of, why am I wearing these shades? Why am I wear my sunglasses at night so I can, do. All right, I don't know all the lyrics, but you know why? I don't want to take them off, because when surfing, got a little bit burnt and these lights are freaking bright. So with your permission, Richard Young, Lincoln Navigators, good cars. With your permission, I'm going to put my shades back on. I wear my sunglasses at night so Dara gets a big fright. So, what is this news? What does it mean? The California Public Utilities Commission, Thomas Gibson in the house, slaps down $2.99. Thank you, my brother. If you haven't been to San Diego Rideshare Pros channel, there it is. Click on it. Hope you're doing great. Wasn't it a hot day today? Today was crazy, right? What did you have over there in San Diego, Thomas? Must have been at least in the 90s. At least. Scott says, Torsten, I took the first step on moving away from rideshare and I got my PUA yesterday. Woo! I said we're going to celebrate, Scott. I knew it was coming. And every time we spoke, I said, Scott, I pray it comes. And you got it yesterday. Now you've made a massive, how does that feel? Scott? You've made a massive step into the direction of empowering yourself, right? And as you say, you like cut the umbilical cord. You're letting go. He's letting go of Uber and he's starting his own company. And already I told you I'd support you. I already sent you keywords. You tell me what you want to achieve and let's talk about a game plan. Let's talk about my area of expertise is marketing, specifically e-commerce and internet and online and social media marketing. So you let me know where you want to take this company. Is it national? Is it Nevada specific? Let's have that discussion. Thomas says, this will be a huge money-making weekend. You betcha. Damn right it will be. I mean, I feel like the psychological, barrier is will be broken through on this Friday. People will be ready to rock and roll. And one of the main reasons why I say that is I look at the traffic. I look at the traffic on the California roads and it's busy. When I'm driving from here to LAX, which I did the other day, I picked up someone and I took a client to Malibu, the beautiful beach house right there in Malibu, drove them down there. They gave me some cold waters, $100 tip on top of the fare that I gave them, right? They flew back from Florida and, it's coming back strong. So I'm with Thomas when he says this weekend will be a big money weekend. And the reason why I say that, I think Friday tomorrow, I can energetically feel it. It's the barrier, right? It's like people should still social distance. People should still wear their mask. People should still cut their hair with Remington shavers like I do, right? Because that's what we do during the pandemic. We cut our own hair. People should still have the disinfectant and, clean their hands and do all of the good stuff, right? Be safe. Rather be safe than sorry. But I could not agree more with Thomas. I can feel it as well. And the reason why I can really support him on his statement is because my bookings, Saturday, Sunday, just all happened this week. And it's taking off. It's taking off tomorrow, right? So private drivers are back in business, my friend. We're back in business. Now, if you're driving for Uber and Lyft, a lot of people are getting back out there on the roads. A lot of people say, screw this, I'm collecting PUA or unemployment UI as long as possible. I'm going to ride that wave until it runs out. And then I will consider returning to rideshare, right? Ari says, do you have any connections in Chicago? No, I don't. That's like one city. I can tell you that, yes, I've signed up a lot of drivers from Chicago in the past, but there's like one city I don't have many contacts in. Hit me up about California, hit me up about Nevada, hit me up about Texas, hit me up about Florida. But I can admit my weakness as far as contacts or people that I know in Chicago, nada. And Abstract Echo Jimmy says, I'm going to ride that wave as long as I can, right? So, we can start looking forward to business coming back. Is it going to be what 2019 was about. I don't think so. I really, really don't think it's going to be exactly what 2019 was, right? I do feel like in a few months' time, if we have to do the calculations, 30 to 40% of the drivers, of the gig workers have moved on to other things, right? Robert Hunicker says, I installed my rideshare driver partition today, which is cool. And you know, the driver partition, Robert, which is see-through, so they see you, you could see them, you're not hiding anything. It's obviously just a protection shield. But it's also a nice little thing where if you want to put a tiny little business card or glue it on there, or a little business card holder, you can actually buy these little Perspex holders, and then you could super glue them on and put your business cards inside there. Works like a charm. They take them out, right? So you may want to consider that. And that's a tiny, tiny investment. You go to Staples or Office Smart, you get yourself a little business holder, see-through Perspex, and you super glue it onto the partition and put your little business, very subtle, left, right, and so that they can take it out, right? Richard Young says, can I just refer you to my Uber and Lyft account? Not quite sure what you mean there. If you have an account, if you have a link, by all means, send it on over, right? So I'm streaming in 2 channels right now, because in the one I need in the rideshare driving school channel, I need the hours to monetize a 4th YouTube account, right? I want to get 4 YouTube accounts monetized, and I think one of them I'm going to hand off to my younger son, to Ryan, right? He's been steadily working away and making his videos and editing, but he said, Daddy, you know, it's pretty hard to rack up 4,000 hours and 1,000 subscribers. I'm like, okay, I can help you. You can take over one of my channels. So he might be taking over one of my 4 YouTube channels. Abdul Akbri says, every time when I get my first ride, then Uber gives me a $3 trip. I need to drive for that $3, 16 miles. What should I do? Is this a constant pattern, or when you actually starting off? Those type of trips, my friends, you know, I'm sorry for my crude language, but we don't whore for under 4, right? Like, you start driving at $5 minimum. Delete, cancel. Don't send $3 trips, please, Uber. You got to cancel it. Sherelle's is in the house. Ray the mailman Uber driver says, this week in total of 6 private trips, going to make about 1,800. I love it. That's fantastic. Amy Montgomery, right where I am, use that PUA to build up down payment. Love it. Great. Just keep on chipping away and get your own thing going. Sherelle says, those, I guess that could work, right? A shower curtain liner to use as a partition. That's good. You like a homemade partition. Fantastic. Dave Chin's in the house. Muhammad, why Uber change? If you could elaborate on that, why did they change what? Just give us some more information so I can work with you. Scott Tucker says, is he driving UberX? Who? So the California Public Utilities Commission, in an order announced this week, ruled that ride-hailing drivers with Uber and Lyft are employees under last year's Assembly Bill 5, which categorized many independent contractors in California as employees. This is the latest development, but far from the last word on whether companies should classify workers as employees or independent contractors. Look, we were probably almost like sick and tired of that list, hearing AB5 employees, independent contractors, probably so sick and tired of the conversation. I just think if we can load up the bases against Uber and Lyft, the more people that bring charges the better the position we are in to negotiate a whole new infrastructure, a new frame of law, right? So I'm all for these bases, there's legal bases or fines loading up against the companies so that they have to pretty much surrender and say, okay, we buried in paper and legal work. How do we start negotiating and talk so we come to a compromise? So, I would say load the chips up here. Sharif Salah, how are you? Hope you and your family are doing well. Pavel's in the house. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you, Pavel. Early on, had a little bit of a dickhead in the... I blocked him out. I don't know if you guys saw him. People just trashing. And usually it's people that come over from Trip, right? Because I've been hammering Trip hard, solid. So you got a couple of pissed off people there that, I had battles and discussions 2 years ago. And I said, you guys are wasting your effing time. You're not going to make a single cent. So they didn't listen. They kept on sacrificing their hours and signing up people and didn't get paid for it. They didn't want to listen, right? And I have felt a lot of hatred and pushback from them. But whatever, verbal judo goes by me. I don't own it. I don't let it affect me. And, wherever your blame, whatever your issues are, you deal with that. I have my life to deal with. If you want to throw flames, if you want to throw cow shit or cow dung, it's okay. Just goes here. Ain't gonna slap me in the face, brother. Choo, doo, 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 doo. That's how I approach things. Pedro Santiago is in the house. Pavel, that's impressive. 20,000 rides. Whoa. That, my friend, is impressive. Jimmy says the TV commercials against AB5 are so misleading. Always before a ballot, right? Always before November, in that final month, mark my words, October, November, we are going to be bombarded and bombuzzled with thousands of different ads. And it's interesting how you can twist the story, especially on AB5. Yes, they will want to try and murky the waters and confuse people on the issue of AB5. That is their game plan. Some people fall for it. The people that have been following it are smart enough to know who Uber and Lyft are. The people that are following it are smart enough to know how the drivers are being treated. They've seen it in the media. They've seen the people strike. They've seen the people protest. And I can tell you, I believe the public is on our side. The citizens are on our side, right? You can't have corporate America, the bully, come along and pretend with some advertisements, with some TV commercials that, hey, we're the saints here. We're the little angels. Public ain't stupid. Some people fall for the shit. Not everyone. It's Moose is in the house. Ray, the mailman, Uber driver, says Dara Dung. If you guys have never, ever seen what Dara Dung looks like, I don't want to pick it up. If you guys have never, ever seen what Dara Dung looks like, it looks something like this. This is classic Dara Dung. And even when people try to throw Dara Dung at me, it goes flying straight by, But what do I do with Dara Dung? If I see it coming, I just flush it back down the toilet. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the latest development, but far from the last word on whether companies should classify workers as employees or independent contractors. In its ruling announced Wednesday, the Commission said that drivers for transportation network companies, or TNCs as it calls them, are employees. For now, TNC drivers are presumed to be employees, and the Commission must ensure that TNC comply with those requirements that are applicable to the employees of an entity subject to the Commission's jurisdiction. The Commission wrote in its order. The distinction is important because employees are eligible for additional benefits and protections. Obviously, we didn't get those during the pandemic. and employers have to pay additional taxes for employees. Assembly Bill 5, sorry to bore you with that name again and again, introduced in December 2018 by Lorena Gonzalez and approved last year, codifies the court ruling known as the Dynamex decision, blah, blah, blah. We know all of that. Both Dynamex and AB5 targeted gig economy specialties like ride-hailing companies, Lyft and Uber, as well as DoorDash, all of which make extensive use of independent contractors. The decision will not be the final ruling on the issue of whether drivers should be classified as contractors or employees. Uber has filed a federal lawsuit for injunctive relief to enjoin the enforcement of AB5 against the company and its drivers. Lyft drivers have sued Lyft in federal court, seeking an order requiring Lyft to reclassify its drivers in California from independent contractors to employees. In its order, the commission said that as a matter of California constitution, with enforcing those laws applicable to the entities subject to its jurisdiction until such time as a higher court, the legislature, or the public, through their right to vote, determine otherwise. When did the CPUC get authority to oversee labor law? Said Stacey Wells, spokesman for the Protect App-Based Drivers and Services Coalition via email. This is an outrageous political stretch and not what drivers want. By a 4-to-1 margin, independent surveys show, not true. Independent surveys show app-based drivers prefer to be independent. Drivers prefer to be true independent contractors, but we're not being treated as true independent contractors. So on that, she's right. But under the true definition of independent contractors, they are not treating people as independent contractors. Today's ruling shows Uber and Lyft are violating the law just as they embark on a $110 million campaign to buy their own law this November. The deceptive ballot measure is nothing more than an attempt by gig companies to create a loophole to keep pocketing billions by avoiding the rules of all other companies to follow. Now, on another topic, I don't know if you guys looked at the stock price in the last 72 hours. It has gone from $37 to $31. Why? Why did it drop $6 entire within 3 days? It's because Covidera did not pull off the Grubhub scoop that he was bragging about. We are taking over Grubhub. Well, guess what? They lost that deal, right? So instead of Uber acquiring Grubhub at $65, that's what they offered per share, in walks Takeout from Europe. I've read up a lot about this, and they paid $75 a share. So the Grubhub deal, has gone all the way up to $7.3 billion, which means Grubhub shares shot back up again. Uber shares fell very, very strongly. And the talk in the last few weeks is that Uber really, really needed the Grubhub deal because the food side, the food deliveries was working. The rideshare side has pretty much evaporated. In fact, Lyft is even doing better than Uber on the rideshare side. Leo Casamenta's in the house. He says somebody is trying to control the narrative. Guess what? It ain't the drivers. Could it be Poo Dara? Well, we're going to shut him down, buddy. We're just going to keep on chipping away. Boo Boo F is in the house. Good to see you, my friend. Missed hearing you. Been unable to catch up till now. Well, great. We're happy to have you here, my friend. That's awesome. Dan, the driving man. San Luis. How do I pronounce it? San Louis or San Louis? I never know. Probably San Louis, right? Like I would always say Arkansas, and people say it's not Arkansas, it's Arkansas. So I get screwed up with the pronunciations of a lot of US cities and states. Forgive me. Abdul says, I drove 22,345 trips with Uber, 1,000 trips with Lyft. One time I picked up a trip from Fairfield, California to SFO, which is 61 miles. Uber paid me $45. Too cheap. Let them don't play the game with drivers. I'm following you. I'm following what you're saying. St. Louis. Okay, cool. Thank you for clarifying that. I appreciate that. And then digital tactics. Very cool. That's what I was looking for. Louis. That's how you pronounce it. Thank you. Terry B is in the house, and we never will be. That's why these companies must be put on a leash. Amen. Thank you for saying that. Abstract Echo Jimmy says, Dara douchebag sucks. I'm Abstract Echo, and I approve this message. I approve your message as well. This dude sucks. And he couldn't pull it off. Diarrhea Dara. I love it. Diarrhea Dara, resign now. I love it. I mean, go big bragging on, I consolidate power, I buy companies. Dude, you failed. You couldn't even get your first Grubhub deal together. You failed miserably, Dara. Must be a shitty week for you. And then now you're seeing your stocks fall from 37 to 31. Well, I'll tell you what, it's going to go further down. Especially, listen to me, ladies and gentlemen, when they make the second quarter announcement. Ain't going to be rosy, ain't going to be pretty. St. Louis, Missouri. Very cool. Terry B says, if this November ballot passes, it will destroy minimum wage forever, with little chance of ever being able to change it back, as it also changes the ratio of votes needed to pass any change. Right. If Uber wins this November, the big question thereafter would be, will Dara the shitty explorer, will Uber and Lyft drivers still be willing to drive for peanuts? And I mean peanuts, really. UberX is disgusting. What they're paying in UberX or Lyft regular is disgusting. It's despicable, right? So if they control the narrative in November, they control the rates, they'll control the story, and that's not good news for drivers. But if we load the chips on this side, if we load the legal cases, if we load up, including the PUC, which I just read you that story, if we can force them to the table and come up with better conditions before the end of 2020, I do believe we will be in a better place. Again, disclaimer, if the market bounces back, many riders have moved on to their own cars, right? Many riders have moved on to full-time private drivers, and many drivers have moved on to other gigs, whether it's food delivery gigs, whether it's Amazon, whether it's starting their own company. Lots of changes in the last 90 days. Abstract Echo says, Dara only takes the bottom position while having sex because he's used to effing up. Good one. I like it. Are they still doing pool rides? No, because obviously pool was a disaster for the pandemic. COVID numbers went up. So, I mean, yes, pool will come back at some stage, but I highly encourage people to say no to pool, to share trips. Highly encourage you to not accept those. Amy Montgomery says, I will be diversifying when I come back too. That's good news. So again, just eat Takeaway confirms it's gobbling up Grubhub in a $7.3 billion deal. Consolidation in the world of on-demand food ordering and delivering continues. Today, Just Eat Takeaway, the European company that only just got its own $7.8 billion merger approved by regulators in April of this year, officially announced that it has reached an agreement to acquire Grubhub in the United States in an all-share deal for an enterprise value of $7.3 billion. Eudes Gonzalez asks, why are #arbitration companies claiming I am signed up with them when they take a cut? We lose a lot of money again being ripped off. I'd rather go through the California Labor Board. Look, you can go and do all of that work yourself, Eudes, and I've researched this extensively, but you can go that route and go through the California Labor Board and not engage attorneys. But I'm going to tell you something now. Be prepared to wait for 2 years. Be prepared to wait for 2 years. It is a very, very, very slow process, right? And yes, law firms do take a big chunk of your money, but they force the issue. And there's no faster way than forcing the issue when you come in a class action, right, where you have multiple complaints stacked up against one company. They look at that, and usually they settle for cents on the dollar, 20, 30 cents on the dollar, right? But, you know, do you want money now, or do you want an uncertainty in about 2 years' time, where they approve you or decline you? And JJ says, I don't want to be an employee. Come on. So let me tell you how this works. Do I want to be an employee of Uber and Lyft? Absolutely not. Am I an independent contractor with Uber and Lyft? No, I'm not. They're not treating you as real independent contractors. So I'm a person that loves to mediate, right? Understands mediation very, very well. And when you load the cases like California versus Uber, Uber versus California, you have to settle in somewhere in the middle and come up with a joint plan that both sides approve of, right? Now, if you are going to keep on driving and be treated as an independent contractor as Uber and Lyft classifies you, which you are not a true independent contractor. People think, oh, I'm an independent contractor. No, you are not. Independent contractors set their own rates. Independent contractors act independently. Independent contractors can choose, stop, decline, do whatever they want, and they facilitate the trips. You are not an independent contractor under the current state of affairs. Make that very, very clear, right? So what we are striving for is something in the middle. Is something in the middle. You have the flexibility, you can choose, you can drive, and you can feel independent, but with better pay, but with better conditions, right? So I am with you, JJ. I don't want to be an employee, right? And nor am I pushing that everyone becomes an employee. I'm saying load up your cases. Load up your cases against Uber and Lyft and make your argument for employees, or employee that they treated as employees, because then Uber has to surrender and give up. And what I'm looking for, and I think where this is going, and I've spoken to several attorneys, is that we are going to have a new gig worker law. You're going to be a hybrid. You're going to be a hybrid between employee and independent contractor. Dylan Kunitz in the house. He says, hey, Dad, with Charlie right now, and we say, what's up, Uberman? Well, Dylan, my son's in the house. There he is, and he's with his wonderful friend, Charlie. She's a total sweetheart. You must have seen them on the feed in Malibu together. How are you two? Nice to see you. I can't see you, but I saw you calling earlier, and Dad was in a feed, so I couldn't jump out. So my son's in the house. my 6-year-old. Love you dearly, son. Happy you're here. And Charlie, hope you're doing great. Now, Dylan, when you say, what's up, Uber man, right? My title is Rideshare Professor. So you say, what's up, Rideshare Professor? Because Uber man is another guy, and I don't want to take away his title, because that is my friend Randy Shear, pioneer, who started YouTube channels way before the Dustins, way before the Revolutions, way before the Rideshare Professors, way before Dark Road Runs, way before the Entrepreneurs. It was a legend. Love him dearly, Randy Shear, and he is the true Uberman. So, Dylan, say hello to everyone. Mackenzie Belly in the house. Mackenzie, I don't know where you're coming from, but you sound very upset. And you say, Mackenzie says, do your research on the Rideshare Professor. He says he's spoken to several sources, but never named them. I have been in Javier Becerra's office. Maybe you know who that is. Maybe you don't know Mackenzie. Educate yourself. I have been with Lorena Gonzalez. I have been in Sacramento. I have been in San Francisco. I have met with Uber attorneys. I have met many, many heavy hitters in this industry, including the attorneys from Uber and Lyft. So dream on, sunshine. If you want to come in and inject your little bit of bullshit in the room and you can't back that up, then I hate to say it, Mackenzie, people that come in and trash talk without doing their research, this is what I have for you, right? So if you have any resources out there, if you're a hot shot and an all know-it-all, name them. I've named the people that I've met with and many, many more, right? So Mackenzie Belly, today from me, the troll gets the royal flusher. Dylan, this is how we flush trolls, baby. Bye, Mackenzie. Enjoy the sewage pipes. I hope you have a great life. I wish you well, and I hope you survive the pandemic, and I hope you and your family are doing great. So I saw my son earlier on. Charlie, how are you? Good. Charlie's in the house. Mr. and Mrs. Brown are there. Trish says they've given passes to some of those industry workers. Charlie Liotta in the house. Subscribe to me right now, Charlie. Hit that subscribe button and hit the like button. Hit the like button underneath. Charlie Liotta in the house. And she was in our feed with my son Dylan. Remember when I did that chilling on Malibu Beach? Dylan and Charlie took over the live stream. That's them. You have to be, Terry B. You're getting pretty elaborate with your jokes. I try to bring a little bit of fun into matters. I try to keep it serious, right? I try to find a balance. And if the channel's not for you, there's 20 other channels that you can go and check out. There's a lot of people that do live streams out there, right? Abstract Echo knows Charlie. He says hi. Mr. and Mrs. Brown, you were chatting with them in the feed. Eudes Gonzalez says there seems to have been a lot of intentional app irregularities. App forensics can prove it. Uber and Lyft are in bed with the government agenda. Okay, send me the links. I mean, I'd love to read your research. Richard Young says $170 you had to pay down for the partition. I don't think it's a bad price because, I mean, there's a lot of work inside this. Dylan says, Dad, can you take us to the beach tomorrow at 11:30 a.m.? We can do another video. So Dylan, I thought that Nate's father was taking you to Malibu. That's why I brought the surfboards down to you, right? I don't really have an issue taking you earlier. If you can do 10 a.m., Dylan, I'll be there. I'll take you down at 10 a.m. Udaya Raj Kandal in the house. How are you, my brother? Sorry I had to be, sorry I got a little bit heated about this Mackenzie person, but I have a troll in the house trying to slap down all my hard years of work, right? And people have seen me at the Capitol in Sacramento. People have seen me at the rallies, at the protests, right? I'm not making that type of shit up, right? I am pushing for better conditions, and I'm not going to have some arbitrary wannabe jump into a stream that's never hung out with us, who's never followed us, who's never seen the history of the videos, who doesn't understand who we're talking to and what type of change we're trying to make, come in and splash some negative toxin venom into the room. It's not going to happen. So you've got to slap them down. Charlie says, thanks, Torsten. Excited. Perfect. I'm excited to see you guys tomorrow. Big hugs. Yudis, hope you're doing great. Yeah, thank you for saying that, Yudis. That's great. Kennedy Blanchette says, I'm an actor, a personality, not an advocate. That's your opinion, buddy. I don't know who you are, what your background is. I guess when you are building up a YouTube channel, and I'm asking Kennedy, I'm not sure how many subscribers you have or how many hours you have under your belt, but if you're out here talking, you're performing, right? You're talking to the crowd. You got to know how to entertain people. You got to know how to sit down and talk to people, how to treat people, how to buy at auctions, right? So when I go to an auction and I put down $10,000 or $5,000, it's not an act. It gets serious, right? Because you're investing into a vehicle, and then you have spent a lot of money, and then you have to get your return of investment back, right? So thank you for coming in, but no thank you, Kennedy. You can go and dance and perform and act elsewhere, not here. All right, I hope I made myself clear. So, hate to say it, but Kennedy, I got to give you the royal flush, right? Charlie says we are going to finish our card game. See you tomorrow. Cool. And me using our channel says you can't fix stupid trolls. Block him. You're right. You cannot help them, right? And usually it's people that are disgruntled, people that are not making progress, people that are unhappy, people that are blaming other people, people that are manipulators, people that are narcissists, people that just are not getting this shit together in life. So what do? They go and find channels and they go and spew their shit. I can't help that. I can't change that. They come in. The only thing I can do, as you correctly say, you can block them and you can flush them. You can give them, you can give them a little symbolic. You can give them a little symbolic goodbye, right? All I can say is, Kennedy, sorry, buddy, but I got to flush you. And anyway, I am not going to spend my time and energy justifying my channel. You go back and be a judge, right? I am not going to defend myself. Dark Road runs in the house. Love you. Send my love up to North Cali. What does he say? Torsten is no actor. He's been on the front lines fighting for drivers for years. Thank you. I appreciate you saying that, because that makes me feel better. I just cannot stand the trolls that come down and try to disrupt things because of whatever their issues are, or whatever's beneath their surface, right? But If you look at Dark Road Run, if you look at Dustin, I'm telling you what, we're all out there helping our fellow drivers. We're all out there sharing information. And all of the information doesn't just come from me or Dark Road Run. Dark Road Run gets information presented to him. I, Torsten, get information presented to me. I have people showing me evidence. I have people showing me screenshots. I look at it. I research it. I hear it from 10 different resources, how they are being shafted here, or what Uber and Lyft is doing to them there. Dark Road Run knows exactly what I'm talking about. And then we act on that information. We make a video based on that information. So we get in our facts. We get in a lot of data from drivers. We get a lot of feedback from real drivers. And then we share it usually in the rooms. And here we have another little wannabe grid runner who's going off on Dustin. It's Dustin, by the way, not Justin. And for attacking Dustin, who's worked his ass off, one headlight grid runner, get a life and go fuck yourself. Because if you were 2 feet from me, I'd give you the classic South African flatty, right? So lucky for you. Sorry, but we have a lot of little haters and trolls in the house tonight. You cannot bring Dustin down. As hard as you try, you're not going to bring him down. So good luck with that. Calling him a bullshit artist. You're not going to go anywhere, buddy. You're going to be spinning around in your own little hating hamster wheel all your life. You will never, ever reach the level of Dustin. Never, ever will you ever get there. So good try, right? Not working, unfortunately. Mohammed Khan's in the house. How are you doing? How's the familia doing? Hopefully well. Scott, you know, let me tell you, Scott, here's a difference between you and a person like one headlight grid runner. Right? Here's the fine difference. And I'm gonna make it very, very clear so people can see difference between trolls, haters, wannabes, as I call them, and the people that are actually trying to make a difference. Scott and I have been going back and forth for a long, long time. And he's told me about his ambitions. He's told me about his goals. And you know what? He went into action, right? Not words. He started kicking into action. And I've seen the back and forth privately between him and I, and him starting his own company. That is the difference between the Scotts of this world who go out there and do it. And then I'll anytime, buddy, anytime. What city are you in? One headlight? Anytime. Anytime I'll sign. And I hope you got money, because if you lose, you got to pay up, right? So anytime you want, we can meet down at Wildcard down in Santa Monica. Anytime you want, sunshine. I will slap you into silliness, right? So Giannis is in the house. Giannis, I got to discipline a couple of little pussies and trolls here that are getting a little bit out of hand. Got to slap them down a little bit. Good evening, Cruise and Limousine, Scott Tucker. And one headlight grid runner, you can call me. You have my number. I'll arrange that. I'll arrange it with you. Here. I don't talk, my friend. Here. You can email me and I'll set it up with you. I would love to discipline you. You don't know how we do that from where I come from. Anytime, sunshine. There, you've got it. That's an invite to you. Giannis, you must be 9 hours ahead, so we're talking, what, 7 a.m. in the morning? You just woke up? Have your Greek coffee? That's a great idea. Put it into escrow. Anytime. Been there, done that, buddy. Many a times. This thing. A lot of people talk, but send me the thing. We're gonna have a good time. Giannis, What are you having for breakfast over there? Some people are going to bed, some people are just waking up. Yanis, I know, is on the other side in Europe. He's just woken up. James Campbell's in the house. He says, I just did my first Black Lives Matter march today. Good for you. Good for standing up for a very, 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 very important cause. Thank you for doing that. Yeah, I actually cannot wait to go to Europe. It's Moose. I love getting in with the trolls. Every now and again, I love to get in with the trolls, right? Because they're coming to take a shit and a dump in my channel, and they're not invited. You know, it's like people who try to get into a nightclub, right? They wait at the front door, bouncer says, you yes, you no. Somebody just ran through the door into the nightclub, didn't have the ID checked, didn't identify themselves, he'd get kicked out. I do the same thing, right? But on the way out, they get a good slap. It's just the South African side. I'm sorry about that. That makes me happy. Miyu says, Professor, help me get almost $10,000 already this year. Love it. Thank you for sharing that. Lorenzo Davis, what's up? You're doing Uber in Los Angeles tonight. When did you get back behind the wheel, Lorenzo? When did you decide to actually start driving? Just recently, or have you been doing it for quite a while? Yeah, the trolls are sometimes fun. You're right. You can have a little bit. We got to have a little bit of fun with them, right? Got to have a little bit of fun with them. But John B says, this time next year, goodbye Uber. Scott Tucker says, I still want to see Torson's wife go at it with the political person. Oh, yeah, you don't want to wake up. You don't want to wake up the dragon. She'll spit flames. When the curfew ended, you started driving. Right? Good for you, dude. Troll IQ equals 0 minus 0. 0 minus 0. Good, I like that mathematical formula. The Russ ride, I'm curious as well how Uber and Lyft rides are doing. I've been focusing on food delivery. There's a small percentage back in the game that are driving and they're doing pretty well, right? Because there's a few drivers in a big pond. Rider numbers have gone back and a lot of drivers are kicking back. I've received countless emails and text messages from individuals that tell me that they are not driving, but they are collecting unemployment money. A lot of that in Texas, Florida, California, New York, Nevada. Some people are still waiting on monies, but there's a lot of people. John Durham says, I got to go. You have my like. Thank you. You, Dylan, and the rest of your family have a great night. I appreciate that. And tomorrow is Friday. We're all going to celebrate Friday. And then I hope everyone has an amazing, amazing weekend. Right? And I even hope that the trolls have an amazing weekend. I hope that the trolls finally make some money. That'll maybe make them shut up a little bit because I think their stress levels are very high. Right? They've got nothing to do. Miyu, Instacart. Um, San Luis was great. Oh, you're not doing Instacart anymore? You lose, in fact, because you can't spell. IQ Boy says, we are at 2 million people infected. Why do you want to put yourself in danger and your family? Abstract Impressions Karen says, I'm not driving. I'm still waiting on PUA. Wow, in Chicago. You must be pissed. You must be waiting for that money. Adrian shares, he says, Adrian Guerrero says, Postmates sucks here in California. If you have worked for Postmates, you're not happy with them, my question to you would be, which of the other food delivery companies have you tried, Adrian? Have you tried any of them? Fantastic. Amir says, I'm receiving the PUA and unemployment, total 760. We don't drive yet in Detroit. I'm happy to hear that. It's Moo says, with the COVID-19 numbers going back up as cities open up, I believe there will be fewer rideshare requests. And that's why I think these companies are so desperate, at least Uber and Lyft are so, not Lyft, but Uber is so desperate to get their hands on a well-functioning food delivery company. And they missed the opportunity with, Grubhub, and that's going to hurt them. Abstract Impressions, Karen says, you bet, I'm pissed, waiting on PUA. Mike Smith says, the food delivery companies can make a big difference depending on which is the most popular in your market with customers. Yeah, I agree with that. Mr. Yuda says, I use DoorDash. Mr. and Mrs. Brown's unemployment will give him back pay all in one check, debit card from Chicago once he puts his vouchers in. Benzlik says, couldn't get unemployment quick enough, so I got a union job, feels great, no stress about Uber and Lyft. Good for you. That's fantastic. If you can take that stress, that weight off your shoulders and you feel lighter, it's a massive step in the right direction. Russ Ride says, DoorDash has been good, so only accept $7 minimum orders. Uber Eats has tipped well 75% of the time. Postmates has done okay as a backup. Most customers tip well, so I average $5 to $6 per order. I appreciate that feedback. Thank you for sharing. That's cool. Looking at this Just Eat takeaway that acquired Grubhub, they said that the combined operation, which processed 593 million orders in 2019, will have over 70 million combined active customers globally. That's big. Didn't realize that company is that big. This is an all-share deal where Grubhub shareholders will get 0.67, just takeaway.com, ordinary shares in exchange for each Grubhub share. Very interesting. MeU says United States military veterans get hiring priority for any census jobs available. Hurry if you want a job doing it through the rest of the year. Good information. Thank you. No, Adrian Guerrero, I don't think drivers will ever become employees. I want to reiterate that for the 10th time. That's what the state wants. It's not going to happen. I think we're going to have a whole new gig worker law. Dave Chin says, I'm back. Can you give me a quick review on the topics? Well, we've had about 3 or 4 trolls tonight. We've had a lot of rich trolls with a lot of rich statements, but we kicked them out. And they will be back. Fortunately, we can't help that. And then we sort of got into unemployment, who's collecting, who's receiving, who's not receiving, who's receiving what. We're talking dollar amounts. And now we are on the topic of food delivery companies. A lot of good feedback. People letting us know like where they are earning, which ones they're working with, in what cities, what states. So that's where we're right now. QGS says, I made $424 on Uber Eats last Sunday, 12 hours. That's impressive, my friend. That's impressive. Miyu says, Prof, seriously, man, I appreciate your channel and your honesty in helping us who have real brains. I like it. You know, I'm sure the trolls have brains, but I question the size of the brain. I question how their brains operate. And at the end of the day, I really feel sorry for the trolls, because it's just misdirected anger. They got all that shit going on in their own lives, and then they like to lash out, blame, point fingers, right? God forbid someone else is doing well and they're not doing well, right? So that's where a lot of that anger and hatred and jealousy comes from. Javov Matavosian, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. To your knowledge, do you think the AB5 would benefit drivers in a lawsuit if one's been filed or not? So are you asking, would it benefit you as a driver if you joined a lawsuit and fought for those back pay unemployment hours? Or are you asking me, does the California AB5 lawsuit against Uber and Lyft benefit you or work against you? I just want to make sure that I'm very clear on that I get your question right. He asked me, to your knowledge, do you think the AB5 would benefit drivers in a lawsuit if one's been filed or not? I'm trying to get my hands around your question there. Yeah, so the California AB5, okay, I follow you. So my answer to that is, let's say you have California with the AB5 imposing these rules. Hey, drivers need to be employees. You got the other side, Uber and Lyft, and say, hang on, they are independent contractors, although they're not treating you like independent contractors, but they're saying, hey, they are independent contractors, they are not employees, and the two fight each other. Let's say California with the AB5 would win, and Uber and Lyft would have to completely surrender to the California regulations and laws that every driver is an employee. Firstly, a lot of drivers would be without jobs because Uber could not carry that additional $600 million burden. Okay, that's the one thing. So I don't think that's a good idea, because a lot of people would be without jobs. It's number one. The other thing is, if you were a strict, by the rule, by the law, an independent contractor, I think that would be very good. If you were to be strict by the law, an employee, I don't think that's the greatest thing, and that's not what I'm striving for. what I'm trying to achieve, what I'm trying to push for, where I hope that the meeting of the minds takes place, is that both sides mediate, give up a little bit, and say, okay, there's better conditions, and we package it up as a new gig law. But long answer to your question, if AB5 California would stand and everyone would become an employee, I don't think that's a good thing. Where are my trolls? They're being very quiet. Where are you guys? I hope I answered that for you, Gevorg. I like that name, Gevorg. Gevorg. It sounds like Viking. Is that, what nationality? Matevozian, is that Armenian, or where is it from? It's a great name. I like it. Gevorg. And I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. Scott Tucker says that is why the Raiders are having training camps here in 2 weeks. Armenia, see, I was right. Excellent. Got several Armenian friends in LA. There's a big community in LA. All right, amigos, I have a long day tomorrow. I'm going to rock and roll. Again, I'm going to take the kids to the beach, and then a lot of work and a lot of good things ahead. Dan, the driving man, removed the trolls. Love it. I hope they felt the wrath of the right. Uppercut. Let's play some baseball. I like it. I want to see sports again. I really miss sports. I really miss watching sports. You know, we all have our sports that we like. I believe Abstract Echo Jimmy likes ice hockey. Am I right? If I've listened to one of your conversations from ages ago, I think he's an ice hockey man. I could be wrong, but that's what I believe. I miss my NBA. I miss my watching international rugby. I really miss watching soccer. There we go. Kings hockey. See, I was on the money, dude. Digital Tactics says, stay safe out there, everyone. You too. Thank you for being here tonight. You and your family. God bless you. Hope you stay safe. I hope everything goes okay so we can rock and roll together in 2021. I appreciate you being here. Rick Nelson says, ice hockey, yes. Scott Tucker says, with Newsom locking out sport is what triggered Raiders move camp from California early. I don't think it's just a state or a governor specific thing on sports. I mean, this involved every team, every soccer team, each state team, LA Galaxy, every baseball team, every state. This is not just a Newsom. I'm not buying that one. Sorry, Scott. I cannot pinpoint. But you're 100% right in saying that is why they moved that camp. Sorry, I misunderstood your statement there. That's what triggered the Raiders to move. Correct. Right. So I am sure there were many sport political decisions made city by city, state by state, because of the shutting down of the COVID-19, because of the pandemic. I just hope we can slowly start to see sports coming back. Tris says the racetrack opens up tomorrow. Which racetrack? I hope not Santa Anita. There's too many horses dying there. Abstract Impressions, Karen says, go Blackhawks. I love it when we all have our team, and I love my Lakers. I love my Lakers, I gotta say. My mom's horse is running. Los Salamitos. I like it. Which racetrack? Tell us. Oh, which is good for you, right? Good for Vegas? It's good for Vegas. Well, I don't know, and I could be, I read a lot about that. Pastor Potter Gabe says, if we have another breakout, does everything shut down? My guess is yes, if it really, really gets bad again. I don't know why they say that. They study the graphs, look at the graphs, if they look at, the second wave, that I don't understand when they say like September is supposed to be bad. September. Los Alamitos racetrack off Catella. I know where it is. Thank you. Thank you for clarifying. I'm not a big fan of the Santa Anita track. I think it's awful. Carlos Belma says, how are you, buddy? Good to see you here. Thank you. Sorry, I got a little bit heated. That's just the South African in me. That's the crazy rugby in me. I guess the inner beast comes out. I don't like chicken heads that hide in the dark and spit toxin and hatred. I want them 2 feet away. You know what I mean? Face to face, mano to mano. But they prefer hiding in the dark. I can't do anything about that. It's Smooth says September is also the beginning of the flu season. I see. Okay, interesting. Weakened immune system, flu season starts. Maybe because of that. Scientists have reported that some places spiked while others showed no increase, and they're baffled. I'm sure. Like, why does that area spike? Why does that not spike? Doesn't make any sense. Sting moved his residency to January at Caesar's Palace. Cool. That'll be cool. And they get paid a lot of money for that residency. Britney Spears, I think, got something like 30 million for the 1 year when she took residency in Vegas. Pretoria. Cool. Pretoria. That's a city in South Africa. She's from South Africa, Pretoria, yeah. Pretoria is where I went to the army. Well, Pretoria is where I did my basic training. 8 months of training. It was 60 miles from where I lived in Johannesburg, Pretoria, which is the capital of South Africa, Pretoria. COVID in the dark. They'll get COVID-era. Oh, wow, you're supposed to go visit and then COVID canceled it. Yuris Gonzalez, thank you very much. Thank you. I appreciate it. Muchas gracias. Keep it up. Keep it up. Hey, we're going to have to bang a little bit. We're going to have to bang. I asked that guy to, no, let's not go down that road. Let it be. Let it be, Torsten. Let it be. Let it be. Let it be. Red, red wine, you make me feel so fine. You keep me rocking most of the time. Red, red wine. Good song. Well, it's almost time for some red, red wine. I like it. That rhymes. A red, red wine, you make me feel so fine. You keep me rocking most of the time. Red, red wine, no. Oh, no. Red, red wine, yeah. Now, I'm an actor. According to the other guy, I'm an actor. I'll wear that hat. I can tell you something. Both my kids, for some weird, strange reason, they wanted to do stand-up comedy. Okay. Always support what your kids want to do, right? So we find a good comedy club for kids. Many of these kids are with Disney now and blah, 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 blah. They take their lessons. They take acting lessons. Well, they were both in several TV commercials as actors. And the other person was trying to put actors down. Actors actually make a lot of money. I would not be surprised that my youngster, Ryan, at the age of 13, with his savings, being in a few movies, being in several commercials, has more money than that other guy earlier on who was putting actors down. At the age of 13, right? They get paid well for national commercials. So, Tantilations Mobile Sunless Tanning. That's a company. Tantilations Mobile Sunless. Cuomo is the biggest lying POS I've ever had the displeasure of hearing. And the reason is blah, blah, blah. This is a very, very broad statement. But okay, you're upset. But going back to, oh Lord, are we going to try and push politics here? Tantalines. COVID is as fake as Obama's promise you can keep your doctor if you like your doctor. I would, if I was you, Tantilations, I would just zip it when it comes to politics right now and crazy out of the sky statements. We're talking about rideshare and other things. We've had a lot of good topics until you walked into the room. So just keep it non-political, please. That's all I ask. You're a guest here, so you're welcome. If you want to mix it up with the crowd and talk about gig work related issues, you're more than welcome. There's a toilet somewhere nearby that's calling your name. I like that, John. That's funny. JJ says Uber and Lyft California regulator ruled that the state will consider drivers working for the ride-hailing services employees. Yeah, that was this article over here. Is this what you were talking about? California PUC rules that Uber and Lyft drivers are employees. That's probably what you're referring to, JJ. Oh, cool. Jimmy says, I auditioned for the part of Joe Hardy for the Hardy Boys series. I was beat out by Sean Cassidy. How cool is that? And, you know, while we're on acting, auditions, you know, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work going to auditions, right? It's a lot of work. But when you hit a national commercial, you can make a lot of money. I remember I was in a national milk commercial, age of 14 in South Africa. They played the main character, right? It was a fun commercial. Riding elephants, riding jet skis. It was like a 45-second ad. And, you know, back at the time, I think I made like 20,000. I was a little kid, you know, and yeah, cool. I could buy my BMX. I could buy a whole lot of stuff. My parents managed my money, and it taught me a lot. So I think it's Moose. Have I been in any movies? As like a, maybe as a, no, I've been on very many sets of movies, like watching them make it. No, I'm not an actor. Yeah, I mean, I guess you got to act a little bit on YouTube, sure. So in a way, yes, maybe I'm an actor there. But my two sons did fairly well. And there was a movie that fell apart because of a budget. A British producer was working with American producers. They had about $105 million budget. And out of about 4,000 people that auditioned, my son was literally supposed to get the role. And then they couldn't come to an agreement because there was a discrepancy of about $10 million that the Americans didn't want to pay. They were only willing to pay $95 million for these, I don't know how many episodes they shoot of this series. It was very much like, what's that 80s movie, Stranger Things? It was very much like that. So yeah, I mean, I was all in, supported it. I think Ryan may have done a little bit more as far as money making with his little short acting career, right? But I think at the end of the day, it taught the kids a lot, especially being on stage. You know, when it comes to school plays, getting the main roles, gives them a lot of confidence. Gives them a lot of confidence, you know, getting these main roles. The main role in The Lion King, the main role in Aladdin, blah, blah, blah. So I think it's a great thing if kids participate in theater at school. Yeah, we should make like a funny comedy spoof show, reality show maybe. As Scott says, we need to make a movie about all the stupid shit us drivers go through and what we have seen. I mean, it would be, there was a movie, and this is way, way, way back. It was called Taxi. And what they did is, they chose, I think it was shot in 5 cities, 5 stories about a taxi driver. I don't know if you guys saw this. It was unbelievable. I think the one was Paris, the one was Helsinki, the one was Russia, the one was Germany, Berlin, I think it was, and the one was New York. Those were the 5 cities. And they had a story of a taxi driver, and a story, you know, each little segment maybe got like 20, 30 minutes. It was a brilliant, brilliant, brilliant movie. Brilliant movie. And real true stories, right? And maybe the one was in, no, the one was, maybe there was more than 5, 6 or 7 scenes. The one was in Rome, in Roma, also I remember that. Helsinki, Rome, New York, Paris, Berlin. Yeah, 5 or 6 cities. Suckers. Which city was Robert De Niro in? Which city? I don't know. Robert De Niro was one of the main actors in Backdraft. And it's interesting that the troll early on, right, who said that, you know, was putting actors down, actors. And what people that want to become actors, and the amount of work and the amount of dedication, the amount of casting, some get lucky. Very, very few become Brad Pitts. Very few become Charlize Theron's or you know, Jennifer Aniston's, blah, blah, blah. Very, very few make it to the top, creme de la creme, right? But it's interesting that the trolls that will put actors down, like this one early on, I bet you he's been to tons of movies because he enjoyed watching that actor, because he enjoyed watching that movie, and he enjoyed watching that actor perform. But they're very quick to jump into one of these rooms and start trashing actors. I have all the time in the world for actors. I drive a lot of actors. I love the stories. I love the people, right? And I love the entertainment. I love the finished product called the movie, the film, right? So think twice before you come and join as a troll in these rooms. That's all I can say. All right, we're at 1:34. I am tired. I got a super long day tomorrow. 10:45 here. 3 hours later on the East Coast. Yes, thank you, Rick Nelson, New York, for Robert De Niro movie Taxi. That's it. Yes. You're doing great. The classic ones are classic cars, rent them out to the movies. The movies, obviously, there's no movies shot now, but most of the cars have made my money back just from renting them out to the movies. And the one that I'm working on now is going to be my prize. I'm going to pour a lot of money into it. 55 Bel Air. All right, it was good. We had fun. I'm glad I get to hang out with my friends here. I call you friends because you are friends. We treat each other like family. We take care of each other. We work together. We support each other. And thank you for slapping those 3 or 4. I didn't really ever have a live stream where I had to eliminate 3 or 4 trolls. I guess the later it is, the crazier they get, right? The later the feeds are, the crazier the people are. Abstract Echo says, acting is so much fun. In high school, being an actor was looked down upon, but since I was a hockey player, nobody gave me any flack for it. That's a cool story. John Bauer, thank you for being here, my friend. Hopefully you're doing well. Udis, thank you for being here. Good night. Tris, good night. Jimmy, good night. Scott, good night. James Waycassis, good night. Rick Nelson, San Antonio, good night. Karen, good night. It's Moose, good night. Anybody? I've got 54 thumbs up. Makes me very happy. That makes me very happy. That makes me smile. Sherelle, sending you a lot of love back. Thank you. And Tris says, afraid of your stick. Which stick? You're afraid of my... This is what happens during the pandemic. Start cutting your own hair. I cut it yesterday, so there's nothing to cut off. All right, guys, get some rest. Get some rest. Tomorrow's another day. It's Friday, end of the week, beginning of the weekend. And I wear my I'm an actor. Sunglasses at night. Stevie Wonder. I could be Jamie Foxx. Who did Jamie Foxx play? That famous singer, that jazz. Who did he play? You're looking up like this. What's his name? Ray Charles? I love actors. I love movies. So actors get 2 thumbs up from me. Whoever's an actor, whoever was in a school play, whoever was in a commercial, whoever went to an audition, I give you 2 thumbs up because you did more than those horrible little trolls tonight. The Terminator, yeah. Ray Charles. It was a good movie. Played it well. Played it well. And Jamie Foxx, driven him many times. He was over in Houston, Texas at the funeral of George Floyd. He was right there. Good night, everyone. Terminator, yeah, Arnold. Thank you for voting for me. My name is Arnold. I got muscles, big muscles. Terminator, I'm the Terminator. I'll terminate you. He's funny. Good night, everyone. How many Terminator movies did they make? A lot, right? And I think Arnold Schwarzenegger, I believe he got his breakthrough. What was that movie that he played in? Old movie. What was that movie called? Before Arnold's first movie. Not Gladiator, no. Way back, I'll find it. So made 6 Terminator movies, not twins. It was Arnold's first movie. What was Arnold Schwarzenegger's first movie? Conan the Barbarian. That's it. That's the one that put him on the map. And I think that is when he was in peak physical form. Right? He won Mr. Olympia, the best bodybuilder in the world, and then he made that movie, Conan the Barbarian. I've never seen it. I'm sure his acting skills were not fantastic, but it put him on path to be a Hollywood great. It put him on path to be a governor, a politician. I mean, he was in politics. in acting, businessman. Got to hand it to the guy. He's had an interesting life, right? And he came all the way from Austria. I'm from Österreich, from Austria. My name is Arnold and I'm from Austria, right? So you got to hand it to him. He lived the American dream. I remember Arnold in the streets of San Francisco, yeah. Black Lives Rally tomorrow, 5 p.m. in Whittier at Central Park. 5 p.m. in Whittier in Central Park. That's cool. Flavor Flav. Pump it up, yeah. That's easy. Pump it up. Pump it, Arnold, pump it up. Hilarious. I like him. I met him a few times I sat right next to him at the boxing matches. I met him. I spoke to him in German as well. And I went to his restaurant. I had dinner with them. Him and his best friend Sven. That was in the Gladiator. Yeah, I met Arnie a couple of times in Santa Monica. He had a restaurant. Arnold had a restaurant on Main Street in Venice. It was called Schatzi's. It was a cigar restaurant where they would meet. Every Monday, smoke the cigars, food. Schatzi's. Mike Tyson. You know, the interesting thing is, it's cool. What part of Austria, John Bauer? I mean, one of the most stunning cities is Vienna. Vienna calling, or Salzburg in Austria. I've been all over Austria. It's beautiful. Stunning, stunning city. What was I, before I leave, I'm a little bit tired. Sorry, my brain's a little bit frazzled. Oh, what I wanted to say is, when you're in this business of rideshare, right? Doesn't really matter which category you're driving in. Somehow, somewhere, you'll always have an interesting figure get into your car. And we all have our stories. That's why I would be all for if one could put like a reality TV show together about rideshare stories, because there are many, many, many stories out there. Many stories. Arnold married a Kennedy, Maria Shriver. They divorced. And they have 2 or 3 kids. Patrick is one of them. Met Patrick. Karen, which email? Tonight or a past email? Oh, correction, Sherelle says, oh wait, the BLM rally is Saturday, not tomorrow. So it's Saturday, not Friday. Thank you for correcting that. All right, everyone. We're on 1:45. I'm running low on energy. I've spoken a lot. My voice is going down. Have a good one. Have a great, great Friday. I hope we connect sometime on the weekend. Dave, I appreciate you. I appreciate you all. Have a wonderful, wonderful Friday. Set your intentions as you go to bed tonight. Get up refreshed and have a great Friday, a great Saturday, and a great Sunday with your family, with your friends. Good night, everyone. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hashtag COVID era 19. Good night. And thank you to all the people in that room. Thank you.